Hi, Cuppa and card friends. Welcome back. It's Linda Z. It's time to grab your favorite Cuppa, grab your cards, and let's dive in. So today we're going to do something a little different, and I'm just going to go with the flow with this. I have 9 pre-loved decks that I've been talking about, and instead of laying out 3 cards, the Eight of Wands cards from 3 different decks, we're going to look at the Eight of Wands cards from this deck, but we're going to do a deck walkthrough also at the same time. So I've already cleansed these cards with my crystals, and now I'm going to use my Palo Santo to cleanse my hands. Cleanse my head, and ask the Spirit bring this together so we can take a look at this. This is a Low Scarabeo deck. There's really nothing on the box that talks about the deck. Inspired by Necronomicon. And this is a very dark deck. So all the decks that I had gotten are dark and creepy. And I say dark and creepy in a good way. Dark and creepy is definitely not a bad thing. Some people look at this as shadow work. And for me, it's not shadow work. Here's the back of the card. And you can see how it actually has a person holding a grimoire and all the dark people, demons, and monsters that are behind him. And so let's talk pre-loved decks. So pre-loved decks, for me, are just decks that people may have had that they no longer resonate with or never did resonate with. It's not something that's bad, so to speak. I don't say that they're bad decks. For everybody, they need different decks in their lives, and I got all of these from my neighbor, Francesca. Thank you so much. Who was having she's moving, and she wanted to destash some of her decks. Now, I do thoroughly recommend, and you're going to hear me say this often, that anytime you buy a pre-loved deck or get a new deck, it doesn't matter. You need to cleanse it. I have a video, and I'll put it in the link below, on how to cleanse your decks. There's many different ways. You can use Palo Santo, incense, Florida water, bells, crystals, knocking on them, very, very many, a lot of ways, just a lot of ways. So let's take a look at this. And when we get to the Eight of Swords, I'll pull that out and we'll finish the deck, and then we'll talk about the Eight of Swords. I will be posting these in the 4 Facebook groups below so that you can share your Eight of Swords cards and your thoughts on the cards. So join one or all of them, and don't forget to answer the questions, because if you don't answer the questions, you will get declined. We want to make sure that we don't have any scammers. And speaking of scammers, somebody is sending out friend requests to a bogus page called Cuppa and Cards, and no, don't join that. So if you get a friend request, I will not ever request for you to be my friend. I want you to be my friend. But if you want to be my friend, then you can reach out to me and subscribe on my channel. But no, I will not request that. So if you get that, decline it, send it to Facebook as spam, report it, whatnot. So let's look at these cards. Here we have a fella as the Fool in straitjacket, and we have all of these demons behind him. We have this light shining down on him. And this is a pretty dark and scary kind of deck. Now, the guidebook gives about a paragraph for each one. I'll show the guidebook. It's a Low Scarabeo. It's standard. It's tiny. It's an LWB, which means little white book, and pretty much all Low Scarabeo decks, I'd say 95% of them come with this tiny book. It comes in multiple languages. As you can see here, it says Dark Grimoire Tarot, but they have it in multiple languages. It's in English, Italian, Spanish, French, German, and Portuguese. We have a introduction, and it tells about the Necronomicon. Tarot as Books of Magic. The Key to Reading. And then you can see here how it just gives a little description, a little paragraph on each of these all throughout. And then it goes into, here it goes into Italian, etc. Okay. So there's not much to the guidebooks. You really have to use your imagination and intuition and really dive into this, because this is a dark deck. Now, all the decks that I got, except for one, are kind of dark, gothic almost. I keep talking. We need to just start showing cards here. Here's our Magician. You're going to look at some of these cards and wonder why is that card that way? Like, this is the Empress, and you see her standing here. Normally we see a pregnant Empress, and she has rabbits around her and a beautiful little garden and everything. And here it looks like we have people praying to her. We have all of these statues of heads and stuff in the back. Here's the Emperor, the Hierophant, but here are the Lovers. I think this is a really great Lovers card. It's about choice. Here we see these two together. We have one in the background on this hillside, and they're holding hands, but are they holding hands, or is she trying to cling to him and he's going to push her away? You know, you really have to just, these are kinds of cards you really kind of have to sit with. Here's our Chariot. And Justice. I think this is a fabulous Justice card. I love that she has a voodoo doll sitting here. She's using this statue is like the scales. Just really great. Twos, even though we have one here, but we have them seen right here, kind of gives you a symbolism of Two of Swords, making a decision, or even kind of like the Ten of Swords. The Hermit. The Wheel. But a lot of people see dark cards as the Hanged Man literally hanging himself. But a lot of people see dark cards like this, scary cards, as shadow work cards. And I don't see that as shadow work cards. For me, okay, so shadow work for me is working with cards that are bringing about things that you have kept in the shadows of your life, that you've pushed down into your unconscious. These are bringing things up to the surface and healing old wounds and working with things that you have put into the shadows. And for me, that's self-care, honestly. It's not dark stuff like this is home. Having dark things like this is very comforting to me. I'm not a goth girl. It's not about, that dark side, but it's always been self-care for me, because ever since I was younger, I was always fighting. I used to fight and take care of my brother, who's younger than I am. I have one sibling, and it's always just been one of those things. I've always felt, as a Cancer sign, I've been the nurturer. And I had my son when I was younger, and ever since then, it's always been one of those things that I've always taken care of other people or someone else or something else. I've never It's never been about self-care for me. So self-care is my shadow work. Six of Cups. And seeing decks like this really make me want to sit and think about things. Like this Seven of Cups. Normally we see Seven of Cups with all these choices. And I like seeing that. I like seeing the choices that are there. But here we have a Seven of Cups, and it almost looks like a Four of Cups, where he's sitting back, but he's dreaming about all these different maybe things in life, or homes, or security, or whatnot. Eight of Cups. Nine of Cups. Now, would you look at this as the wish card? I mean, when you really sit and think about it and look at it, he's at a wishing well. And maybe he's already made his wish. He has shoes on. 10 of Cups. So some people, like I said, might look at this as a shadow work deck. And if that's what you need to use it for, then great. That's what you should use it for. But not, how do I say this? Every deck is intended for the person reading it. You get out of it what you need to get out of it. Now, isn't that interesting how he is drawing a box, and he's drawing this demon coming out of the box. Look at that. For pentacles, isn't that amazing? We don't see the pentacles, we don't see the coins, but this definitely shows he's holding onto something so tightly. Look at him and how old he is. The Five of Pentacles. And here we see this man. I just think this deck is just so awesome, because you see him, and he's sitting here. He has been drinking, but he sees all these people going into this building. But what is really in this building? And look at the shadow that these people are casting. Is it something you really want to go in there for? And then here we have the Six of Pentacles. So looking at these cards definitely shows me there is a dark side, of course, to the unconscious and everything. Again, you can use it as a shadow work deck or not. For me, this is not, like I said, for me, it's not a shadow work deck. I find this very, very interesting. I can't wait to really get to know it and really look at the guidebook and look at each one of these. Like here, the Queen of Pentacles. Normally she holds the symbology for holding it. She's holding it like an egg, like a child, like she is nurturing this thing. She looks at it with admiration and love and care, but here she's holding it up and she's looking away. The King. Ace of Wands. Look at the power coming from that, the energy coming from that. So it's great to have such a choice of decks in your collection. I have the Grim Tales Tarot, and I think I have one Halloween deck. So all of these will be great to be using for Samhain, but I like to use these anytime. And they're just very, very creepy. I like the monsters on them. The tentacles, look at this, Nine of Wands coming out. Is she on fire, or she cast this ring around her to keep them away? Or are they trying to get her? Or, you know, there's so many things you can look at this to wonder what's going on. Is he getting swallowed or is he crawling out? See what I mean with, there's so many things for you to think of when you see cards like this. I love it. It also reminds me some of the scenery from Constantine, the movie Constantine, how when he went into the underworld to see her sister, and he's running through hell, and all the things are chasing him. That's what this reminds me of. Look at that too. It's awesome. This 3. I know I've said this a million times. There's certain cards in a deck that really make me look at if I really, really enjoy the deck. Like the 3 of Swords is typically just a heart with 3 swords in it. And it makes me crazy that the artist or deck creator didn't get more creative with that. And here we have, it's from the book. And we have all of this coming out of the book. And I'll read what it says in, hold on. I'll read what it says in here because it's just, I love it. Now it says in here, the swords are demons. And they represent thoughts and elements of air corresponding to our own intellectual center with the mind and its potential. If thoughts escape our control, they can become obsessions, taking the form of demons that enslave the minds. So the 3, the Grimoire falls open to natural magic, to creativity, and to union. So this isn't saying this is about heartache and pain. It's about the demons coming out of the book. The book is the Grimoire. It falls open to natural magic, to creativity, and to union. Now, isn't that such a jump from sorrow and loss? The 4 of Swords. The 5. Look at them chasing him. The 6. Look at that creature. It almost looks like the creature from Stranger Things, but it's the head and the tail. The 7. Look at the thief coming in. All right, now I'm going to move this away because I'm going to show the 8 later. I'm going to flip it over so you don't see it because we're going to talk about the 8. The 9 of Swords. Isn't that fascinating? How his reflection is a monster. This is a really fascinating deck. I'm pretty sure this is a mass market deck that's still available. The 10 of Swords. And yeah, this is just, look at it. His head is off. The monster is carrying his head. This is definitely what you would call a dark deck. And the King. And look, he's holding up a head. I don't see a body anywhere. But not only do we see his legs here, but look, we have tentacles underneath. This is just a really groovy, kind of creepy, dark deck. Okay, so here is our 8 of Swords. I just think this is so amazing for an 8 of Swords card because here again the 8s are demons and they have captured us. We're in this jar and we're caught. And it says here in the guidebook, again, the demons represent thoughts. And I'm trying to do this with one hand. And it says, the ability to decide and fortitude come from reason and generate a desire for balance and stagnation. And here we're caught. So for me, this just tells me that We're trapped. You know, the demon is our thoughts. So our thoughts have trapped us. They have just captured us. We can't escape. We need to change our thoughts. We're overwhelmed. Our thoughts are making us feel like a prisoner. And so the general overall keyword that I use for this is overwhelmed. And definitely you feel like a captive. But again, since these are your thoughts, you can change this. You can escape. You can feel this feels stuck, but you're too focused on the painful situation that's there. But there's always a way out. So you have to think of what it is to get out of this situation. You're not seeing that you have this ability to break free, and you need to reclaim yourself from whatever this delusion is. This is also about negative thinking and the mind making you feel powerless. So here we see this monster keeping you captive in this jar, making you feel powerless. This also reminds me of being a kid, and when you used to go out and capture bugs and put them in a jar. You know, think of yourself as that bug. You're going along in life, and something grabs you up and captures you. And for them, the only way out is for that lid to open up. These demons are bigger than you. I mean, you've given them so much power, and you don't need to give them that much power. This is all in your head. This is all in your thoughts. And so you've got to get it out of your head. And here we see his heart, and we see all these vessels, kind of like a tentacle kind of thing. So you've got a big heart. And I see, for me, it goes in a lot of different directions. So you have a lot of emotion. This is all emotional blockages. This is all being tied up in your head. So I am going to shuffle the cards, and I'm going to put this aside because this is going to be our tarot card that we're going to do our reading with. Okay. And let's move the camera down. We'll put you up on our little tarot easels, because these are really cool cards. So bear with me as there we go. We get our little tarot easels up. And we'll get our cards going. Zoom out a little bit here. Okay, so let's ask Spirit. So why is this here? Why is this here? Why do we have these emotional blockages or negative thinking? Okay. And then how do we handle this? How do we handle this? How are we going to handle this negative thinking? How do we reclaim ourselves? Okay, we have two cards. We'll use this one. Okay, so I'm going to move this over just a little bit more. All right. Thank you for staying with me. Okay, so we have our Eight of Swords here. So this is about being stuck, emotional blockages, feeling overwhelmed. We've got to get out of our head. We feel trapped. We are literally trapped. Our mind, our thoughts, the way we're thinking, we feel trapped. We are a negative Nelly. We are just not feeling it. And why is this here? We have Temperance. We have something this is about balance. This is all about balance. And let me read from the guidebook what this card is showing, because this is a very different kind of deck. And in the sacred woods, the secret eternal life is imparted by the fount of life. The sacred waters gently protect from excess. That is great. So it's saying that it is protecting us from excessive things in our life. So maybe this is about excessive thoughts that we have, which is what has trapped us. And how do we handle this? We have the 10 of Swords. So we have another, so there is a lot going on here with all these thoughts in our heads. There is just so much going on. The 10 of Swords, this is finality. This is as bad as it's going to get. That's how we handle this. This is something we are going to have to go through. Something has come to a conclusion. So why, okay, so let's start this reading. We have the 8 of Swords. And this is, okay, so the whole reading is all about these things are in your head. These things are about all the things you're thinking. You're feeling trapped. You've got this, whatever it is in your mind, it's all in your head. You have got to change your way of thinking. The balance card, why is this here? Because you need balance. Maybe there's something you're doing in excess. You are really just zoned in on a certain thing that you're thinking of, almost stalking whatever it is that you're thinking of. So it's kind of like a stalker situation. You just are infatuated. You are overwhelmed. You are just constantly thinking about this one thing. Whatever this one thing is, it has to come to an end. That's why it's here. Why is this here? This is something it's saying it can hurt. It could be the end of a relationship. It could be the end of whatever this thing is that you're thinking of. This is as bad as it's going to get, but there is a new day ahead. It's always going to get better. Once you get over this, get through this, stop thinking about it, you need to change. This here, the Temperance card for balance with excess, is telling me that you're giving too much power to this giant. You're giving too much power to these negative thoughts. And this is saying this is a painful process that you're going through, but you need to go through it. And it's sad, but it will be liberating. And you can welcome a new beginning. So don't deny yourself of going through this. You have to go through this in order to come out on the other side and start fresh and start new. So I hope you enjoyed the reading, and I hope you enjoyed seeing the cards. And let me know if this is something that you like, instead of doing the 3 cards. Because if you like the 3 cards, I'll go back to doing the 3 cards. And if you like just me doing a deck flip through, then let me know and I'll do just the deck flip throughs, because I've got 8 more decks to show you. Actually 9, because I got a new deck called the Sacred She Tarot that I really want to do a deck flip through for. But I like doing both kind of things. So let me know what you think. And I hope you enjoyed this. Again, don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss future videos. And I hope you enjoy this deck flip through of the Dark Grimoire. I hope you have a wonderful day. Sending love and light. Bye.